Welcome to Hill Country Hustlers, back with another episode here with Trista from Wright's Funeral Parlor. And she is here to share her story and what she does with Wright's, and going to explain that a little bit to us as well and tell us about some exciting events coming up. And we actually met in an interesting way. Me and Trista are both citizens on patrol officially in one day. So, yeah, we met each other in the Citizens Police Academy. So,
Yes, that's a fun time, right?
yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more interesting than I thought it would be.
Me too. And we've learned a lot about what the police do and
Yes.
all the nitty gritty of all that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We covered a lot more than I thought. It's interesting. You get engaged as well every class day. So,
yes,
shameless plug there for CPA. Go do CPA.
Yes. And you get to hang out with Officer Lamb.
True. Yep. Officer Lamb is great and it is an enjoyable class. So, I would recommend it to anybody.
For sure. Me too.
Now, getting on topic here, what exactly do you do at Wright's Funeral Parlor?
So I am a funeral director. I'm a funeral director only. I'm not also a mortician, which is what most people know it as. I've been there for almost 7 years now, and it's a close family friend business that I started helping out at one summer and then just stayed. I couldn't imagine doing anything else, but I would only be a funeral director at Wright's for many reasons. We are women owned and operated, which is really fun. And I love working with families during their time of loss and all of that. We offer everything that a full functioning funeral home offers. Of course, we do cremation, we do burial. Something I don't think a lot of people know is we are the lowest cost for all funeral services in the Hill Country by probably about half that what other funeral homes charge. And so we do deal with a lot of families that their loved one passed away suddenly, and it's a lot of financial burden on the family when that happens.
I feel like that's really hard just to think about.
Yes.
So
yeah. It's something that I know a lot of people don't want to think about too. And that's part of my job too, is not only am I a funeral director, but I work with families and I'm in charge of the pre-arrangement program at the funeral home. So I do lots of luncheons around town, seminars, events to educate people about the importance of pre-arranging. I know it's not anything anybody wants to talk about, but it's no different than people getting life insurance. And it has a lot of other benefits that life insurance doesn't offer as well. So
it does. And it can save your time or your family time and a lot of headache by doing those things.
Yes.
And I try to tell people in my main job the same thing. It's really important. And it has a huge benefit to your family and your loved ones. And it could really suck if you don't take care of that stuff.
Yeah. And it is a branch off of financial planning.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of people think I got a napkin, I wrote a few things on and we're good to go. But
oh my gosh.
That's not how it works.
Yes. That's what I tell people. Like, I think a lot of the people I talk to, they are guilty of just in passing telling their family, like, when I pass away, just cremate me or throw me in a hole or whatever. That is helpful to at least tell somebody your wishes, but actually writing it down and then on top of that, pre-funding it is the best thing to do. Because at the time, what happens is there's 3-4 kids that are making mom or dad's arrangements and they're like, oh, we thought we heard mom wanted to be buried. And then one child said, we thought she wanted to be cremated. Then it causes arguments and then add financial stress on top of that. It turns into a big mess.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody complain about pre-arrangements being made and not thrown on them.
Yeah. And the other thing I've noticed is lots of people that I deal with that pre-arrange, they are like, yeah, that's what my mom did. So I noticed that if somebody starts it in the family, it becomes a trend generationally throughout that family. So that's something new I've been telling people is start that trend in your family of getting that done, and your kids are going to do it for your grandkids and take care of it.
That's every smart. Generation. That's a good way to put it too.
Yeah.
That's pretty enticing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Clever. All right. So I wanted to change gears a little bit and ask about you. So I'm guessing you're from the Hill Country. You said that was a family friend.
Yes. Yeah. I graduated from Harper. And Melissa's the owner of the funeral home, and she's like my mom is what I always say. I've known her since I was about 10, and she's been in my life as like a mother figure on top of my mom. I usually just tell people she's my mom because then I don't have to explain it all. But we've been, like I said, I've been working there for 7 years, and it's just been a great experience with her and learning from her and she's the best teacher ever. That's one reason why I say I would never work for another funeral home, because I couldn't imagine working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I couldn't imagine myself being a funeral director. If somebody would have told me that, I would have told them no way. But when I started doing it, I definitely was a little timid dealing with families that are grieving. It's an intense emotion to deal with. And so I think at first, I want to say my first couple years, I definitely wasn't the best funeral director that I could have been. But here recently, I'd say within the last 3 years, I've gotten very comfortable with the counseling process, because that's one part of a funeral director's job, is to grief counsel. And so that part I have gotten better at, instead of just saying the regulars like, they're in a better place, it'll be okay. I've really learned to talk with families through their emotions and let them know what they're feeling is totally normal.
That's really cool. And do you have to do, I'm guessing, trainings for that kind of stuff as well, grief counseling?
Good question. So in funeral directing school, that is something that one of the classes we take is counseling, and we take a psychology class, an understanding grief class. So we do have some psychology driven courses that we take during funeral directing school, which I will say they help, but until you're actually in the field, in the office, working with families, you really don't learn much until you're there in the office. And luckily I was already working at the funeral home when I was going through school. So I don't know how the people that go to funeral director school without ever working in a funeral home, I'd like to get one of their perspectives on it, because
I'm sure it feels like getting thrown to the wolves a little bit.
Yes. It's not exactly something that's textbook. You read a book and they're like, when you're dealing with this kind of grief, this is exactly what it's going to look like, because everybody's different. School did give me some tools on how to handle some situations, but for the most part, it's a lot of on the job learning. For that.
You bet. And man, that's awesome. You do that stuff. It's really cool.
Thanks.
Sorry, I wanted to ask about that.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. That's the part I really don't talk about, because usually people are just curious about the gore of it, which I don't see a lot of, thankfully. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when did you join? You said 7 years ago. Were you fresh out of high school? That was where you started?
I wish I was that young. No, I was 2 years out of high school, because I started there in 2019. And that's what I was actually in college in San Antonio to become a radiologist, because I think lots of people can say that's one thing when you're coming out of high school. If you don't know what you want to do, that's just where you go, is to radiology. So I was doing that. And then right before COVID, when COVID started getting a little crazy, I decided to make the move back to Kerrville, which I was probably already going to do just because I really love the area. Mm-hmm. So moved back here. And then that's whenever I reconnected with my husband, Christopher, which you know him. Yeah. And I was already working at the funeral home whenever we first started dating. Yeah, I went over there to help because they needed help, because the original owner got cancer. And so she had to stop working there. So then I went there to help Melissa, and then just never left. Went to school about a year later.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a really cool story.
Thanks.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I like how you came or wanted to come back to Kerrville.
Yes.
I felt the same way.
Yes.
I was always going to end up here. So
that's how
I'm glad I did.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't imagine, especially once we start having kids, and it's going to be a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got great citizens on patrol here.
Yes. Y'all are in safe hands with us.
Yep. Can you tell me a little bit about Melissa? What's her last name?
Hernandez.
Gotcha. How long has that family owned Wright's funeral parlor?
Since 2000. Wow. The original owner, Cynthia Wright, which is where the Wrights comes from, she was in the Navy. And then when she got out, she was just looking for something to do. And her family was from Kerrville. She came back here out of the Navy and was just looking for a second purpose and something to do. So she went to funeral directing school after she handled the arrangements for her own grandmother's funeral at a different funeral home. Mm-hmm. And she decided that she wanted to do that. So she went to funeral directing school, and she actually was a funeral director and embalmer. And when she got done with school, when you're done with school, you do your apprenticeship at a funeral home. And she went to two in the Hill Country area, which I'm not going to say who they are, but at that time, women were not known to be in the funeral profession. So she was turned away for that purpose. And then she found Sizemore Funeral Chapel, which was the previous owner of Wright's. and he was a Navy veteran of his own self. And so she asked him, hey, I'd like to do my apprenticeship here. I know I'm a woman, because she'd already got turned down for that. She's like, I went to school. I just try to get this done. And he's like, I don't care. Come on. And then she did her apprenticeship there for the year. And then I think the following year he had come in one day and was like, do you want to buy this place? Because you're here more than me. And so she bought it. And then Melissa, her daughter, I think started working there maybe 2 years after she bought it and got licensed. So Melissa's been there for about 24 years.
Nice.
And then that's how it's been since then. Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that story.
Yeah.
Self-employed funeral home owner. That's pretty daunting. I feel
right.
Doing
yeah.
all the things from administration to embalming. That's
yeah.
awesome.
She was doing everything. Like I couldn't imagine, because I don't even do the embalming. I do most of obviously I do the funeral directing, and I do a lot of the administration work. And that's already a lot in and of itself, on top of dealing with families and planning funerals and doing all that.
Yeah. What a lady.
Yeah. She was awesome. And she passed away in 2023 from breast cancer. Yeah. And COVID had to play on that, but yeah.
Awesome lady.
Yes. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask a little bit more about you. Are you planning on becoming a mortician in the future, or what's your goals?
No, I am not planning on becoming a mortician. When I first started to go to school, I was like, you know what? I'll try, even though lots of people have told me I shouldn't even be a funeral director, because I have I'm not good with smells. I'm not good with any of that stuff. I was like, I'm going to try, because most funeral directors are embalmers. And so that's what I tried to. And I think I got to my first embalming 1 class, the start of a new semester. And I saw one of the assignments was to practice with an embalmer, start an embalming, something like that, and listed everything that I had to do. And I was like, no. And so I called the office and I was like, hey, I'm just going to have to transfer funeral director only, because I'm not going to be able to do that. So I don't plan on becoming a mortician. My goal before I'm 30 is to own my own funeral home, of which will be a branch off of Wright's. And then the ultimate goal is whenever Melissa's ready to retire, I'll take over everything and buy the whole thing from her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yes.
Do you have plans on the branch out yet, and location? Would it be nearby?
Yes, it will be nearby. I've thought about it a little bit, because I've thought about doing some kind of, not an actual funeral home, but like a pre-planning office only that is like Wright's arrangement planning office or something like that. Maybe in Bandera or some kind of area. I've thought about Fredericksburg, but I actually looked at Fredericksburg population. You won't believe they are smaller than I thought. So
it's weird.
Yes.
They have a lot of growth going on, but they're not there yet.
Yeah. And I guess because it's a tourism town and you always see so many people there, you think they have a big population, but they don't. Point. So I was amazed by that. That was actually just a couple months ago that I was looking into just the area and where would be the best place. But yeah, so I don't know. I have lots of grand ideas in my brain that
that's awesome.
I will someday try to figure that all out.
Yeah, well, those are good to have.
Yeah.
You've already gotten to this point, so
yes,
I think you'll get to that point pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So I wanted to give you a chance to mention any upcoming events. You mentioned you have the seminars and stuff. So do you have those dates with you?
Yes, I do. So on April 30th, I have a luncheon that's at Cracker Barrel, which is a free luncheon that anybody can come to. And it is at 11:30 on April 30th. That one is about travel insurance, which is something that we offer. You don't have to have prearrangements with us, but it is a coverage where if you are traveling and something extremely tragic happens and you pass away while you're traveling, it'll cover all the costs associated with bringing you back home. So your family won't be responsible for that. So I'm going over that coverage at that luncheon, and people can actually sign up while they're there too, if they want to. My next event will be on May 13th at 5:30, and that will actually be at the funeral home. And that event I'm calling a Write It Tonight event. Something I think that's been going on in the area is lots of these private luncheon and seminars by not just me, but other funeral providers, corporate funeral providers, which don't even get me started on them.
I love it.
They're not from here, but I think that that's like an oversaturated thing in the area. Cause I know every time I have one, I have the same people signing up and they come, or they just sign up and they don't come, and they don't end up writing or doing anything. And so my event is to hopefully get those people in and finalize something. Cause I know what I've seen a lot of is families. Somebody will go to those luncheons and they'll collect the packet or whatever that's given out, and then they don't do anything with it. They don't ever actually prearrange. And so at the time of their passing, their family member finds this packet and thinks, oh, great, mom has prearrangements or dad has prearrangements. And they call me and I'm like, no, they don't. They came to one of my luncheons, but they didn't actually finalize. So my goal is to give that opportunity to the people that have gone to lots of these seminars that haven't signed up to come in, and where I'm limiting the spot to only 10 people. So that way it's not too crazy. And I plan on anybody that comes, we actually get them finalized and written that night. So that is going to be a interesting event. I've never done anything like that.
That's cool. Do you have like an estate planning attorney come in, or?
I don't, not to that one, but I have partnered up with some estate attorneys and some, no, not financial advisors, just estate attorneys. I've partnered up with on some of my seminars to talk about the other part of that. So I can definitely let you know.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. That's awesome. You're doing the will one. That's something, like we said earlier, people really need to do, and they don't like thinking about it. It somewhat makes people think their death is actually going to happen if they write the will.
Yes.
But that's not how it is.
Yes.
I had someone in our office yesterday just tell Andrew that if he finalizes it, it feels like he's gonna put it in the universe that he's gonna die now.
Yes, I've heard. Come on, man. I know. I've heard a lot of people say that, and I can tell you, in my 7 years of doing this, I've never once had somebody write their prearrangements and pass away very recently after. I think that I understand people's mindset on that totally, because if you're not around it a lot, like, I know you're not obviously a funeral director, but it's part of it is planning for the future. And I know lots of people don't like to think about it, though. I completely get people's emotions on that, but I try to tell people I'm not a scary person, and we can make it'll be really easy.
It's not that bad.
Yes, it's not that bad. And you'll feel and you feel so better after you do it. That is something that I'm sure you hear too. Once people come in and they do it, they're like, oh, so much better.
Yeah. And nobody wants the courts or anything else poking in their family business when they've lost someone.
Right. Yes.
Get it settled, and
or that honorary family member we all know you have, because everybody has one.
Yes, everybody does.
Yes.
I think that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Have me anytime.
Sounds good. We'll have to have you back.
Yes, I'll see you tonight at our graduation.
Oh yeah, we do have graduation dinner tonight.
Yes. So
we'll be official COPs tonight.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks, Zach.